Hi guys, it's your Introverted Yapper, and today we're gonna get into why I had to quit my government job in the worst job market known to mankind. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, as you all know, finding a job is one of the hardest things you can do right now, and I decided to quit mine for multiple reasons that we will get into. I gotta give y'all the tea, I really do, because almost 4 years of service for Department of Homeland Security. My time came to an end. Long overdue, but ciao. Okay, so if you know me, you know I worked for TSA, Department of Homeland Security. I did that for over 3.5 years. I started in 2022. Now, at the time, I was promised a lot of things, just like a lot of people were promised the American dream. You work long enough, you'll be able to retire, have your house, your kids, blah, 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 blah. I'm here to tell you that is not real. Okay, it's not. It's not real. It's not feasible. It's not obtainable. It's just not anymore. And it's time to be honest with ourselves. Okay, so first reason, the main reason why I decided to depart from my full-time government job is because of the constant shutdowns. I personally, I just couldn't do it anymore. It became so unstable and unhealthy to the point where my anxiety was peaking, my depression was peaking, just all of these things. And it was causing me more stress than it was bringing me any good results. So it was more like bad outweighing the good for me. And this is we're currently still in the second shutdown within the span of 6 months. That is horrible. Now, if you know anything about the shutdowns, if you keep up with them, the last time it lasted, I want to say 53 days, roughly 53 days without TSA officers being paid. This time, I don't know how long it's going to last. It might be longer than the last one, might be shorter. Hopefully, it's shorter, but you just never know. And with the current climate going on with everything politically, you just have to hope for the best. And I personally got tired of hoping for the best. I was just like, this is not okay. And what really clicked for me was me trying to work through it, going through my shift, and this one passenger, he comes up and he's like, I hope you guys get paid because this is not okay. And I was just like, it's all right. We'll get paid eventually. You just got to get through it. And he's like, no, girl, it's not okay at all because nobody should be working for free, whether you get back pay or not. It's not okay. And I'm realizing to myself, like, they've programmed us to just kind of deal with whatever is thrown at us without thinking twice. And I'm just like, if I have outside people telling me this, why am I not telling myself this? I know it's not okay to get up at 2 in the morning, show up for a 3:30 shift, and not be paid. Like, at any time of the day is not okay, but especially when I'm waking up at 2 in the morning. But we'll get into that. So yeah, the shutdowns is what really solidified it for me because it just kind of gave this sense of lack of urgency. Like, you don't care about paying the people who are responsible for the lives of thousands of people, thousands of citizens, or just foreign travelers. It doesn't matter. We're responsible for their livelihood. At the end of the day, that's what it is. I recently discovered that responsibility was weighing on me more than I thought it was. For instance, like, if you're in a position where you're screening bags, right? You'll scan, let's say, a couple hundred bags, right? That's a couple hundred people you're responsible for. And I feel like we don't take that into account enough. That heavy responsibility that is placed on you. And it just felt like, what am I doing this for? I'm responsible for all of these people, yet I can't get paid when I'm supposed to. I have to just wait it out until this party decides to agree with this party. And then it's too much. It's entirely too much. And I strongly feel like the officers are still underpaid. I will be transparent with how much I was making, but just know for the work we were doing, it wasn't enough. In my opinion, it still wasn't enough. Okay, as far as pay transparency, I started off in 2022 making $18.01. Exactly that. $18. Now, I want you to factor in the fact that people before me working for TSA had already been making less than that. The $18 is supposed to be an incentive, like this new incentive that they have going on, and they give a sign-on bonus, but the people before me never received that. So it sucks on their behalf, but I guess someone that's young trying to get their foot in the door, $18 was supposed to be okay. Let's move forward like 3 years. I hit what you call F-band. If you know anything about the pay grade, I was considered F-band after 3 years. My pay, my salary was, I want to say, around 67K a year. Now, hear me out. I know that that is considered to be good. But what you don't understand are those taxes. Good Lord, if you've never made that much, and I pray that you will in the future, but if you've never made that much, you don't understand how much they take from you. And God forbid you do any overtime on top of your base salary. God forbid, because I'm getting uncomfortable just thinking about it, because the amount of hours we contributed to the agency and losing the sleep, not going on vacations, not taking time for self-care. It will be days where I'm working 13 to 16 hours in a day. And you get your check and there's $1,000 gone. And I'm just like, so what did I do all this extra time for? $1,000, I need that. Like, your girl need that real bad. That job allowed me to make the most money I've ever made. And it also, I will say, it also allowed me to move to a completely new state. But at what cost? Like, moving along, we're going to go into our PTO, right? So you have your annual leave and then you have your sick leave. I'm not going to lie, y'all. Me and sick leave were like this, okay? Because given the environment we had to work in, or I had to work in, I was subjected to a lot of illnesses, and whatever would be going around at the time, I always seemed to catch it. Given my medical history, my immune system is weaker than the average person's. So I would get sick a lot more than the other officers. And it didn't help that I worked in an international checkpoint for the majority of the time that I was in the airport. So whatever came in, I caught it. I've had styes, I've had infected styes. Actually, when I first started working there, within the first couple of months, I got an infected sty. Wearing gloves, barely touching people's things, still ended up with an infected sty. That was the scariest thing I've ever had to deal with, because that process of removing it, like my eye was literally shut. I could not open my eye because it was so infected. It was like my eye had then become swollen. It was just such an an unsanitary environment, and they expect you not to fall victim to that. I don't understand it. I will never understand it. And so with that being said, I constantly had to use my sick time. For the infected sty that I had, I was told to not to report to work for 2 weeks. So that completely ran through my sick time that I was given upon starting a job. All throughout the years I had been working for the agency, like I said, I would get sick, I would have to use my sick time. Now, since I've transferred from Florida to North Carolina, in February of this year, there was the flu going around. It was like flu season. Of course, a lot of my coworkers are sick, the passengers are sick, the leadership, management, everybody is sick, right? So I do the responsible thing. I'm going to go to the doctor, stay home, so that I'm preventing the issue. Like I'm preventing from spreading it to other people who have not caught it yet. I take, I want to say 4 days off because I was instructed to take those days off from the doctor. I come back with documentation because they stress that all the time. You need your documentation. I bring that, right? I did everything right, just to be told, hey, you calling out is not a good look. What do you mean? Like I have the proof that I was sick. What are we talking about? And keep in mind you, okay, the person telling me that it's not a good look that I called out is currently coughing in front of me. And we're having a discourse about the fact that the flu is going around. Why are you telling me I can't use my time, my sick time that I worked for, because I accumulated that time while working? I can't use the time I worked for when I need it. It's an inconvenience to you guys, and it doesn't look good. What do you want me to do about that? Just come here sick? Get everybody else sick? No, I'm not doing it. And it was so bad, like it happened so often, that it became like this culture of fear mongering, like, oh, don't call out. Just come in and wear a mask. Like, no, give people the time to properly heal. Because all you're doing is rushing them back to work, and they're gonna either spread it or they're gonna spread it and their immune system is never gonna fully heal. It was baffling to me. I'm just like, I'm not doing this. Like I tried one day, the next day I was even worse. So I should have just stayed home, because that day of me trying counted for absolutely nothing. So I never respected that whole thing of, even if you feel sick or whatever, you should still try to report to duty. No. Wrap it up. Not doing it. I'm not doing it, because now you want me to put the agency before myself, yet you're not even paying me. Oh, and also, me being sick was still during the shutdown. So you want me to report to work while sick with the flu, and you're not even paying me to do so. No. On to the next issue at hand. If you're ever on social media or just watching the news, you know that when TSA is being talked about, it's rarely ever for a good reason, which used to piss me off. It adds to the weight of the job for the officers, and it is never fair. Granted, some officers can come off a certain way. I'm not speaking for all officers, right? But I have seen situations, and I have been in them myself, where we're subjected to interactions with strangers that are just so uncalled for due to the public attention that TSA is receiving at the time. And I feel it is very unfair to the officers because 9 times out of 10, whatever the issue is, it's not the officer's job to fix that issue. They're not in control of the situation. And I feel like TSA officers as a whole, they take the fall for DHS as a whole, honestly, because they're in the public more than any other agency. That pressure, it can make someone become bitter. It can make someone become angry at strangers because you have constant interactions that are negatively impacting you. And although you may only see that person for 3 to 5 seconds, it still doesn't matter. That is still, if you don't know how to protect your energy, it is going to suck you dry. It will do it. And I have fallen victim to that multiple times. You can never really hold the public accountable and make them take that accountability because, it's like, what can you really do? And as far as the officers, you try your best to remain professional, but there's times where it's like, hey, I'm human as well. I'm just trying to do my job, and you don't respect that. And let's just be honest, a lot of people don't respect that agency. They just don't. They just see, oh, they took my conditioner. Oh, they took this. They made me go check in my bag. They took my water bottle. Babe, these rules have been the same. I am about to be 27 years old. These rules have been the same for most of my life. Okay? And I never understand it. Like, it was very troubling to me because I'm like, if you know you can't bring liquids, why'd you bring it? I don't get it. Now, if you've been following me on Instagram for the past 4 years, then you know that I had a terrible experience in Florida with some of my leadership. I'm going to preface this by saying I do not do well, according to my partner, I do not do well with authoritative people. Like, I just, don't tell me what to do. Please, just don't do it. And it's like, if you are going to do it in a respectful manner. I am the type of person that will immediately call out bad leadership because I've been in leadership positions myself. I know how important it is to my coworkers and to myself. I value good leadership because I would want good leadership. It was never resolved because that's just how the agency works. temporary fixes. So I'm giving y'all some of the tea, right? So I want to say I was working for the agency around, I was hitting my 1 year mark. And I was working with a supervisor that I just did not mesh well with at all. I'm going to just say it. She was lazy, had a bad attitude, did not respect the officers, would just say condescending things, and would disappear during a rush to go missing. And you're a supervisor. You can't leave your team in a crucial time like that and then expect them to still have respect for you. And it would be so bad to the point where we'd find her sleeping in the break room during our rushes. But God forbid, right, that you go to get your breakfast before the shift starts. Then you're going to get a write-up. They're going to put it in the system. The manager is going to talk to you. All of the things, right? But that supervisor gets to sleep while everyone is trying to work as fast as they can, be as efficient as they can. Then I called out the fact that she would pick and choose people that she would want to have a problem with. Of course, I was one of the people she wanted to have a problem with. It's a domino effect, and honestly, it was doomed from the beginning. So the lead officer, she and I were pretty cool. We got along well. We worked together well. But I guess me speaking back to the supervisor was a big deal to her. And I'm just like, I don't understand what you guys have going on. But me, I'm going to speak up for myself, regardless of who you are, what the situation is, what your position is. It doesn't matter to me. If you want me to come here and do my job, you're going to respect me while I'm here. I'll respect you while you're here. Once we clock out, we don't have to talk. It's that simple. She saw it as a problem. She like runs up at me, gets up in my face, and is demanding that I go to a certain position. And I'm just like, yeah, y'all got it. I'm going home. So I went ahead, I clocked out. I'm like, one, you don't pay me enough. This is before I started making almost 70K. Way before that. So around that time, I'm still making like $18, $19 an hour. You don't pay me enough for this disrespect. It's too early. My shift started at 4:30 in the morning. And I was like, why would I stay and feel the way that I'm feeling and still have to go through a busy day of work? No, I'm no longer doing it. And that's just one of the many instances that you have to deal with while working in a place where they have such toxic leadership. Like every day, it would be something after the next, after the next, after the next. And everybody just kind of became like just tired of showing up. I'm going to give y'all one more example because I did transfer to a new airport. So I'll let you guys know what happened with that one. So I want to say I had been at the new airport for about maybe like a week. And I was assigned to my new supervisor. And she kind of gave off a weird vibe when I first met her. But I was like, this is a new place. Let me just go into it with a fresh set of eyes, right? So time goes on, and I ended up having to call out because I started to feel a bit of the sickness. I came back to work. And she's like, oh, okay, well, we're going to need your documentation, yada, 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 whatever leadership needs to be able to put your time in, right? So at that point, I hadn't had access to my emails for quite some time due to the transfer process. And so I wrote my statement, make sure I had my doctor's notes, and I was just briefly scrolling through my emails. She comes up and she's like, oh, they need you back on the floor, but with an attitude, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. Keep in mind, it's like not even 4 o'clock in the morning yet. The shift started at 3:30. Okay. So I'm like, okay, cool. And she sees me looking at the email and she like does this blank stare. And then like I see the attitude coming. And so I'm like, okay, whatever, this is getting weird. And I needed whiteout. So I'm like, hey, do you know if there's any whiteout at the desk once I go back out there? And she just storms off as I'm talking. And I'm like, I know damn well she ain't just, what the hell? So I go back out there on the floor where she is. I walk past her, I go find the whiteout. I come back to her to give her the documents. And I'm like, you walked away while I was trying to ask you a question. And she's like, if you're done with the papers, you can give it to me. If you're not done, you can keep it. And I'm like, you're not hearing me though. Why would you walk away when I'm asking you a question? And she repeats herself. And I'm like, you know what? You got it, Bookie Butt. Like, it's okay. Take the paper. Do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to further engage in this because it's only going to piss me off. And I'm trying to be a better person. My therapist and I, we did some groundbreaking work. Okay. So I'm not going to allow you to interrupt my progress. And since then, she would like roll her eyes at me, stare at me from afar, just like do little things, come up to me and bother me as I'm interacting with the passengers. She'll come up and try to ask me if I was talking to a certain person, if I was doing this or that. And I'm just like, girl, you're trying to provoke me? It's not going to work. You're not getting that angry black woman picture up out of me. It's not happening. It's not. And it would bother her that I wasn't giving her the reaction she wanted. And I was just like, that's sick. That's honestly sick. You know nothing about me. You just met me. And you're already going with this narrative. Like, she literally told the manager that I was starting problems. I was doing whatever I wanted to do. And I'm like, you mean working? I don't understand. Every complaint she had was invalid. That just goes to show you that, like, even when you try to keep your head down and just do what you're supposed to do and then go home, they still have an issue with that. If you're not performative or you don't kiss ass, for lack of a better word, you're going to be an issue. I would typically try to be a proactive employee. I would try to put myself out there to show like I am capable of being a lead officer or supervisor. I am capable of doing the things that are necessary. I'm capable of communication, situational awareness, all of the things necessary. But somehow it felt like I would be placed in a box. Now, if you know exactly what that would feel like, it really made me hate my job, honestly. To have to show up every day and know that you're being talked about, talked down on, seen as an issue, all because you're doing what nobody else wants to do, which is step up. So, in one checkpoint where I spent a lot of time working, I would step up often. It was praised. I appreciated the opportunity that was given to me. I learned a lot. I grew a lot as an individual. It forced me to speak up more in a professional setting. Um, it was overall great. It was exhausting. It took a lot of work, a lot of learning, but it was good for my personal growth. And then you go to other checkpoints, other airports, it is not the same. You have people that want you to stay in your place. Don't question them. Don't bring nothing up. No, you can't go to the bathroom. No, you can't go to the computer. No, 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 no. Everywhere you turn, it's a no. And something I had to realize is that not everybody wants to see you win. Not everybody wants to see you successful. Not everybody is rooting for you. You know, when Issa said, I'm rooting for everybody black, that is not the case, babe. And I'm going to be the one to tell you, it is not always the case. And I've spoken to so many people that have experienced the same thing. Like, yes, other people, other races will put you on the back burner, but it is also your people. And it is time we had that conversation. Because we can be our biggest downfall. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. I am unsure of where it stems from, but I would love for it to end because it's it's a sad thing to witness, you know, to see the light in someone and the drive, the want to be better and do better, and then to be shot down by people who they could have potentially looked up to, you know? And I was placed in that situation where I thought I would be able to learn from someone. And instead, I'm being chastised and micromanaged and unsure why. The same thing I thought I would be able to do in order to prove that I want to be able to go to the next step, I was being told no, and other people were being told yes. And of course, we don't look the same. So the privilege to be able to advance was not necessarily there based off of who's in charge. It's like it's very unfortunate, but it's about who you know. If you're willing to kiss up to everyone and be cool with everyone, knowing that their tactics of being in leadership are horrible, you're still going to get far because you're boosting their ego. I personally, the Taurus in me won't let me do that. I stand firmly on my morals, and I strongly believe in being a good person and doing right by the people I work with and even the people I work for, but it has to be reciprocated. I hope I gave you guys a good insight as to why I made that executive decision, and I just went for it. I got tired of being in a loop, of being programmed, of being told no, of being restricted, overlooked, underpaid. I threw in the towel. Like I couldn't do it anymore. And here we are. And I couldn't be happier, honestly. The decision did not come easily. I gave up a lot, but I know and I have faith that whatever I lost will come back 10 times fold. So I'm here to share my experience with you in hopes that eventually, hopefully, you'll be able to be in the same place that I'm in and be able to create a new life for yourself, believe in yourself, stay true to yourself. That is one of the biggest things you can do. Never change. Do not fold under pressure. Don't let your current situation stop you from creating a better environment for yourself. Always stay focused. Remember who you are, where you come from. And if you don't come from somewhere that is ideal or aesthetically pleasing, that's okay. Make the most out of what you got. So therefore, you can push yourself into a place where you want to be, that is comfortable, that calms your nervous system. You gotta work for the life that you want. Don't just sit in it. Don't let it overtake you. Where you are right now is not your final form. So I just want y'all to know from the bottom of my heart, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It's the international. And you know what? I am the international introverted yapper. And what about it? Because we're going to be international one day. Period. Not like that. Bye, y'all. Love you.